This is the first day of school. But hey, like I tweeted out, it's going to be the weirdest first day of school ever, but let's do it. Superintendent Jon Fernandez. Definitely a different look. Usually the first day of school, I know you're out at the schools, but let's just start there. Where you at, your headspace, unpacking this first day of school.
Well, you're right, Chris. Usually, we're getting complaints about traffic, right? The buses are out, full force. Buses are taking too long to get off the road, and there's a crowd around JFK and that intersection at Kmart and all of that. But today it's quiet out there, and again, it's a little bit sad, right? Of course, this is the day where teachers and staff and administrators are welcoming parents and our kids back to the schools. A lot of high fives at the front door, the front hallways, and a lot of activity. And because this is the start of our school year, and just the absolute quiet out there and outside is shows you what a different school year this is going to be. But at the same time, I did send a note to all of our administrators, and I said, look, we're going to make the best of it today. We want to encourage our parents. First of all, our parents, we want to encourage them to just be patient with us as this week. This week is really the week where classes are going to start. Communications between teachers and families are taking place. And we made a big shift last week when PCOR 1 was declared, and we had to also move face-to-face students to one of the home learning options. So, we never expected to jump right in on day one and here's your assignment, here's your homework, make sure you're ready by tomorrow. We wanted to take this time to make sure that everybody was adjusted into the right cohort, at the school. There was going to be a lot of focus just on safety protocols and procedures and so forth. So, for parents, I know a lot of parents got anxious over the weekend, I don't know exactly what to do, when to come on. But our instruction to all of our schools was on day one, make sure that every student has that communication. Every student has an email address at gdoe.net, and then we're using PowerSchool as well as the K-12, our Swift K-12 communications for every parent. So if you're not signed up, call your school to make sure you are signed up because that's how a lot of information is going out. And also make sure to check your kids' school website often. There'll be a lot of information updated on those websites. But again, be patient. Your schools will be reaching out to you. If you do not, if you haven't heard or you're just kind of worried, feel free to call your school directly. We have a directory up on our website if you need the number or an email that is being monitored at the schools. But we also, if you're having trouble or you're just getting nervous, we did staff a central hotline for this period. That number is 300-1536 for a phone. You want to call in. We've got staff manning those phones. And we also have an email address if you'd like to email us at info, I-N as in Nancy, F as in Frank, O, at gdoe.net. Our staff are manning them. And of course, when we get that information, we'll collect your follow-up number. We'll reach out to the principals to make sure that they respond. And then we'll follow up within 24 hours to make sure that everything's settled for you and your students. Some of those responses that we're getting, maybe some difficulties in making sure that they have the right passwords for their email. So, maybe being set up on PowerSchool, et cetera. So we're happy to assist and help get those things sorted out. But again, with parents, we're all making this big shift together. This week, just be a little patient with us. We will sort out any issues that still arise as we would normally do in person during the first couple of weeks anyway. And then hopefully by the end of this week, we'll hit our stride, with everybody connected and kind of adjusted to their new mode of learning.
Did you hear any grumbling over the weekend, John, from, anybody, the teachers, the staff, any?
I think there was a sigh of relief when there was a delay to face-to-face instruction.
Right.
So I think there was that. I mean, whether it was teachers saying, we could use a little bit of time to just kind of settle into the online and hard copy work. But again, it's such a new time. So I also think there's a sentiment of, as teachers, this is all new to us as well. Some of us are great with technology. Some of us will take a couple of weeks, to really get going in terms of our comfort level. But because we're all doing this together, I think we're just asking the community, our parents and guardians who are really our partners at home, to really let's just work hand in hand to make the best of what is going to really be a different school year. And I'm really excited. And I think a lot of us are actually very excited because this push to go online and this push to do distance learning is going to force us to really rethink a lot of how we deliver instruction normally.
Right.
So I'm planning to learn a lot from this experience. But it's not going to be so easy this first week to just automatically have everything working so smoothly. So I guess instead of having the bus drop off issues, my bus is late complaints, what we're gonna expect to have is I still need that password for my email, or I didn't get my schedule yet. But we definitely will make the shift and work to address those issues for all of our families.
Right, and I get what you're saying, John, about one of the silver linings is now we have an online component, right? I mean, that's a criticism that people I've heard it over the last. In the States they do the online. Well, I think this is the COVID. You're right. It's forced us to add this new component that could be part of a landscape of curriculum when we get a vaccine in the future. So I think that's
Yeah, absolutely. And just even myself with the online classes starting today for my daughter, for instance, you can see how in this day and age, those old-fashioned lectures that you typically give in front of the class, where you deliver all the facts that our kids need to know. Our kids really have that on their at their fingertips online. They can Google whatever they need to get and have the facts. So I think a lot of teachers at some point this year will turn this into, hey, you know what? Get those facts on your own at this website or at this reference, and let's use the online time to do students present the work yourselves, show us how you understand it, answer questions from your peers, really turn it into what they call the flipped classroom, where it's not about facts, it's about discussion, critical thinking and problem solving. So it's really going to be a shift this year that will last beyond COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you had already covered this, but I wanted to ask about so this it's a 2-week P-Core 1 and also 2-week delay for the implementation of the face-to-face. So what happens if this is extended beyond the 2 weeks, and to ensure that the face-to-face students aren't left behind?
Right. Well, what we're doing is we're actually reaching out to our face-to-face students trying to move them to one of the home learning options during the interim.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're hoping that they don't actually fall behind even in these 2 weeks. And so there's a couple of things on that note. Number one, I've told everybody on our team to prepare as if this is going to go longer than 2 weeks. This is not a matter of sitting on your hands for 2 weeks and then let's just start up late. It's really about, in the event this goes 3 weeks and 4 weeks, we really have to prepare to smoothly continue, the teaching and learning with our students. And then the second issue is, we are always planning for a contingency in the event that during the school year we got shut down, or there was a surge and we had to do this anyway. Right. So this just hit us earlier than we had hoped. But again, those are the contingencies anyways. Shift the face-to-face to home learning if down the road in the middle of the school year we had a disruption like this occur. So my biggest challenge right now are two things. One is we're having our schools track all of the students that they expected to come back to school. These are the students who didn't turn in any registration at all that we just put in the face-to-face category just so we could keep them tracked. Make sure to track all of those with whom we've been unable to establish contact. That's a group I really am concerned about, who've not been engaged at all, not been able to be communicated with at all throughout the summer. So we're going to track that and get those numbers and work with our social workers and our student attendance officers to try to get those families connected. And then the second thing that I'm really concerned about is trying to make sense of our school meals program
Yeah, that's what I was
in
gonna
light
ask.
of in light of the fact that we were hoping to at least serve breakfast and lunch to students who were attending school, and we had that already planned out.
Right.
And then we were working on a once a week distribution of the equivalent of those meals that we could provide in non-perishable format, so we could provide to our families. So this kind of threw us for for a loop, that we weren't even able to do the in-school serving. But now we're gonna we just have to double down on what that food support will look like, because I think that's really critical.
Right.
And really
Yeah.
not our primary mission, but I'm hearing concerns already from
Yeah.
parents about
Yeah.
what's happening to the meals. What are we doing with meals? So
Right.
that's just a
Man.
So is-
trouble spot.
When we talked to you last week, you mentioned that after you got off the phone call, you were going to be having a meeting on this particular issue, and you also discussed that you were looking at probably a Friday distribution. Is
Yeah.
that still what you're looking at, or?
Yeah, I guess we're still trying to just nail down the details, but that was kind of that seems like that'll be the go-to, again, with further details about what, when, how, and we can establish it. Because the issue was just in terms of food supply, what was coming in, when would it be, when we'd be fully 100% versus ramping up to that point in time. But we didn't have to deal with. We definitely felt that we were able to provide support to our face-to-face students. And with that gone, and the possibility that this might extend beyond 2 weeks, that really is a concerning, issue. We at least felt that there would be 13,000 kids at school, during the week, who could
Right.
receive meals. And now with that not happening, it's even a harder situation to deal with.
Right.
So we will still be working around that Friday, but we're gonna sit down today and see what else we can do to support our families out there.
Right.
Okay.
John, I wanted to give you the floor because I know in a traditional first day of school setting, you're all over the place. You're at the schools. You're, like you said, you're high-fiving the kids. You're talking to the kids. So let me just give you the floor, and if you could speak to the students of the Guam Department of Education this morning on what is their first day of public school classes.
Well, I haven't been able to see many students. I know there were a lot of students contacting us with just questions about how to get started, and if they didn't get their information, where they needed to go. But if I had to share the experience of my own 2 kids, I know that the kids out there, even if they're not at school, are excited to get back to some form of communication with their peers and with their teachers. I mean, my kids were up early this morning. I don't even know why. I said, "Why are you up at 5 a.m?" Well, they were just ready. They wanted to start. They wanted to hear from their teachers what their schedule looked like. If I can share a secret, they're wearing their school uniforms.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's kind of I just, for me, I'm saying, I mean, that's what we wanted to see at school, but they're doing it at home. We want to support them, let them know that we want, we hope to get back to normal someday in the future. But I know they were just excited, that energy of the first day of school. We just can't see it out there ourselves, at every school building. So for all the students, again, this is going to be a wild ride this school year. But just brace yourself. Let's go with the flow. Make sure you ask questions and speak up when you need to speak up, of your teachers, of your counselors, of your administrators, to make sure you know what's going on. But we're going to rely on you to be good partners as well in making the best of the school year. But I know everybody's excited. Again, like I said, kids were up at 5 a.m. just to get online. I mean, that's something different, but it does show the excitement that our kids have for that first day of school. It's still there. And also just, Chris, the teachers out there working hard, I just want to let them know, we support you. We know this is a major shift. We're not going to come out, our plan is not to come out there and say, well, how did you do in that first week? Did you do your Google Classroom? Was it an excellent? It's like, we know you're learning alongside all of us. Let's just make sure we're not afraid to be creative, not afraid to tackle technology, not afraid to be innovative, and we'll provide the support that we need to make things work. So I want to thank all our teachers for pushing ahead.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Keep us posted.
thank you.
Anything on the meals or anything, or just drop a line and we'll get you on.
Yeah, thanks. We'll do.
Thank you, John.
Absolutely.
Okay, right. So the superintendent, just so you guys know, we have a standing Wednesday appointment, if you will, with him. So we'll catch up on Wednesday. Thank you for coming on this first day of school. 8:22. Sabrina, can we kind of recap the big news that we released this morning?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we do have a positive confirmed case